5 months ago, I started applying the 80-20 rule to my training, and it's drastically changed my entire physique, right? So, let me explain to you what the 80-20 rule is, and let's right into it, right? So, the 80-20 rule is basically for all actions. So, for all actions, only 20% of the action, sorry, for all results, right? So, basically, like everything in life, 20% of the actions make up 80% of the results, right? So to put it in a simpler way, right? It's like if you're studying for an exam, right? The 20% of actions that will give you the 80% of results is basically just doing the past exam papers over and over again multiple times, and that will get you the 80% of the results. And then the other 80% of the actions that will only give you the 20% of the results will basically be reading the textbook over and over, like writing notes and doing whatever, like flashcards, whatever the nerds do, right? That's basically the other 80% of actions that will only get you 20% of results, right? So you basically just in life just want to focus on the 20% of actions that will get you the 80% of results. How did I apply this to the gym, right? So 7 months ago, actually 5 months ago, I'd been training for 7 months. So in total, I've been training for just over a year, right? I'd been training for 7 months, and I'd look at my physique, right? And there'd be certain aspects lacking in my physique, right? So my physique is centered around the seven aesthetic muscles, which are neck, traps, lateral delts, upper chest, biceps, abs and obliques, and then lats, right? Those are like the seven aesthetic muscles. I basically prioritize these in all my training, right? In all my gym days, I basically just prioritize training these specific muscles, right? So in all these muscles, right, I would look and see like these specific muscles are lacking, right? And basically applying the 80-20 rule would be looking at the muscle that's lacking the least and then making progress in that specific muscle, and that will give me like the biggest change in my physique, right? Like I could basically just like continue training all my muscles the same amount, right? And I would keep making progress, yes. But if I focused on the muscles that are lacking, my progress would just seem like it's so much. Like I would seem like I've made so much more progress. I would seem like my physique has completely changed, right? But it's only just because I've focused on the specific muscles that are going to make the biggest difference in my physique at that given time, right? So let's put this in, let me give you like the actual specifics of this. So 5 months ago, right, I would look at my physique, right? I would see my abs are chiseled. I would see I've got like nice obliques. At that point, I was like 9.1% body fat shredded, right? I've got like nice obliques, nice abs. My chest is nice, like it's balanced to my physique, right? My shoulders are nice. My neck and traps, though, my neck and traps were lacking severely compared to my entire physique, right? My biceps were fine. Everything else was fine, but my neck and traps were lacking severely compared to my whole physique. And how did I know this, right? Every time I would look myself in the mirror, I would stand by the mirror, right? And immediately my eyes would glance towards my neck and traps, right? Like subconsciously, I would just glance towards my neck and traps. And this is especially true when like there's a specific muscle that's lacking. Like I always find this the case, right? My eyes just immediately glance to that specific muscle when I look at my entire physique, right? And also, another way to confirm this is basically every time I trained, the muscle where I felt the most amount of pain training, right? Not like a bad pain where you have like injury pain, right? But you know, when you start, there's that like specific pain that you feel where you're like, yeah, you're just not strong yet, you're kind of weak, and there's like, it feels like there's extra lactic acid in that specific part of the muscle, right? It's like painful to train, right? Because there's a good kind of pain, like with the chest, there's a good kind of pain that you even reach failure before you start feeling that, like that crazy lactic acid, right? But with the underdeveloped muscles, there's a specific kind of pain that you feel which is extra compared to the other muscles, right? So I always felt this on my neck and traps, and I was only doing like 2 sets of neck and traps per week, right? So basically, my neck and traps to my physique were like underdeveloped, right? So five months ago, I started prioritizing my neck and traps in my workout on my back day, right? So my back day is when I do neck and traps, right? So I would have back, I would have triceps, and then I would have neck and traps, right? Instead of just doing 2 sets per week of neck and traps, I did 4 sets per workout, right? So like 8 sets per week, right? So 2 sets of neck, two failure, and then 2 sets of traps to failure, right? And with the muscle like neck, like I know like basically no one watching this trains neck, right? Like what neck is one of those muscles where you don't even know it, but it's going to make like such a big difference to your physique, especially traps, neck and traps. It's going to make such a big difference to your physique, right? Like I've always had a skinny neck, right? But after training my neck for like 5 months, like you can even see it right now, my neck just looks thicker, it looks fuller, like there's, I don't know how good the lighting is, but there's like striations in my neck. Like this muscle right here is the muscle that you can train to like get your neck bigger, right? And like once you have that like thick neck, so it feels so sexual, and I'm showing you my neck. But once you have like that thick neck, right, it just looks better and makes your whole physique start popping a little bit more, right? So I start focusing on neck and traps in my daily workout for back and triceps, right? And just 5 months of training this has made my physique look a lot better than it did in the summer. But all the other muscles haven't changed that much. Like I've put on lots of muscle mass, yes, across my entire physique, across my entire frame, right? But if I had just put on lots of muscle mass in all these other muscles and my neck and traps remained underdeveloped, my physique wouldn't even look that much better. You'd obviously tell, okay, fine, there's a change between like 5 months ago to like 5 months later, right? But you wouldn't really be like, okay, this is a crazy change. The only reason why it looks like there's a big difference between my physique then and my physique now is simply because I just focused on the muscles that were lacking, right? Now that my neck and traps are developed alongside with like, the rest of my physique, it looks like my physique is like a lot further than it should be in just like 5 months. It looks like I've made so much more progress than I should have in just 5 months. But yet it was just because I just focused on the muscles that were lacking, and then I just ended up developing them to the point where now it's just like balanced to the whole physique, and now the whole physique looks balanced, right? And this is especially true like 2 months ago. I was looking at my physique again, the same thing. I'm looking in the mirror, and immediately my eyes glance to my upper chest, right? I can see like my upper chest is somewhat underdeveloped towards my compared to my entire physique, right? So I just basically focused on upper chest, right? So I focused, instead of just doing like light weights on like the incline dumbbells and you know, not really hitting failure and also getting them like last in the workout or something like that. I put them in like early into the workouts. I focused more on the upper chest movement than any of the other movements that I do, right? So I do like cable chest press, and then I'll do like incline dumbbells, then I'll do like pec deck and everything. I focused more on this, absolutely just hitting failure on all three of my sets, right? And now, like, it seems my upper chest is making the most progress towards compared to all my other muscle groups that I prioritize, right? Which is the seven aesthetic muscles, right? It seems my upper chest is where all the progress is coming from, right? And then again, it just seems like my physique is getting better and better simply because I just focus on these, right? So the more you just keep focusing, or the more I've just focused on the muscles that are lacking, the muscles that are going to give me 80% of the results, the more my physique just seems like it's getting better and better each and every single time, right? Even though all the other muscles are making like progress, but like it's not like I've changed that much, right? I've just prioritized the muscles that are lacking. It seems like basic knowledge and basic information, but if you compare my physique 5 months ago and then you compare my physique now, it looks like there's a huge difference, but it's just mostly because of the muscles that I've trained that were lacking beforehand. That's why it seems like there's such a massive difference between the two physiques, right? So that's like something that I just want to share with you guys, that it's been like one of the most impactful things that I've done the last 5 months. It's really just training the muscles that are lacking behind and then just prioritizing those for a certain like time period. And then you see that your physique will just get instantly better compared to what it should be or what it looked like or whatever. Thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.